I want to just say right now, this has not been an easy video to make. It really hasn't. And I think this has to be addressed to everybody in this video that's watching, and for my friends and my family. I've had deep, deep discussions with everybody I've known personally about it. And now I think you guys deserve to know what's going to happen next. Now, as far as my channel, I'll still be around. That's not going to change. But what is going to change is my fandom. Because honestly, this is a very important thing for me to say. And it's really taking a toll on my body. It's really taking a toll on my mental health. It's really taking a huge toll on me. And I cannot allow myself moving forward in my 30s to continue this process. So what I'm going to announce tonight is that after a very long, tough decision I've had conversations with my parents, I've had conversations with my wife, I've had conversations with my friends, and to most people, it has come to a complete shock. After 28 years of loyalty and fandom, I have decided to move on and resign from my fandom as a fan of the Buffalo Sabres. And this is going to come out as a big surprise to a lot of people. And people have said to me, wow, I never thought this day would come. Almost like it was a sense of relief because they feel bad for me. But most importantly, the reason why I'm doing this, and for one, it's mentally because it's taken a huge toll on me. And I am just so constantly tired of having to root for a team that I keep praying every year that there's this new glimmer of hope. Every year, no matter the incompetence, there's some sort of glimmer of hope. There's some kind of peak hole that I could come through and see what I could see through in everything else. I've been a Sabres fan for 28 years, okay? I've been a fan since 1997. So for me, I think at that point, you know, in the reigns of Hasek and Pekka, Shatan, LaFontaine, etc., those guys were a big piece of my life. Dominik Hasek was my favorite player growing up. No question about that. And I will always respect him as a player. No question about that. I have a Dominik Hasek jersey on my wall that's autographed that was gifted to me as a Christmas present 15 years ago. So I still have that jersey. So I'm very grateful I have it. Now, as far as the 2000s, same thing. Hasek was still there. And then after 2002, I said, okay, you know, things might get better from here. They were okay, but there was also speculation and fears of potential relocation. And the talk of the town was they were going to go to Hamilton. And, of course, Tom Golisano comes in and sells the team, or he gets the team from the corrupt Rigas family. And Golisano was owner for 7 years. Like, he wasn't a big spender, but he was at least able to make them competitive. 2 conference final appearances in that time frame, and a President's Trophy. So I'll take that forever in my heart as a young 14-year-old, young 13-year-old man to root for that team and, you know, get a glimmer of hope. I think what really started this whole downhill spiral, and maybe I was just ignorant, maybe I was just very, very young to remember it, because I remember what happened was with Danny Briere, Chris Drury leaving to go opposition, you know, to go the opposite way. I think that was a big change in a lot of people's minds. You know, they still had Ryan Miller, they had Tim Connolly, they had Brian Campbell, they still had those guys, Jason Pominville, Maxim Afinogenov. They still had a good team, but they weren't as good as they were when they had Briere and Drury. But they were still competitive. 2011, Terry Pegula comes in and he buys the team, and he becomes the 4th owner of the Buffalo Sabres. And people since then said, you know what, there's a glimmer of hope at the future, and we can maybe have something work out here. And since 2011, things have really went downhill. I mean, Pegula has hands down the biggest reason why I cannot be a fan of this team anymore. I know that there's been a lot of shitty owners in all sports. I know that there are teams like the New York Jets who have long playoff droughts. But there's a big difference between being a New York Jets fan and being a Buffalo Sabres fan. The difference between being a Jets fan is they always continue to try to push themselves every day to make themselves better. Even though they suck, it doesn't change the idea that, you know, there's still hope in New York or in Jersey, There's still hope in that area where Jets fans can rally around the troops with that young core, guys like Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, and getting Zach Wilson, although that didn't work out, then getting Aaron Rodgers and getting a young coach every 2 years or every 3 years, getting a new GM, new foundation, etc. That at least the Jets fans are able to come back and and rally around those guys, because football is such a different sport with fandom than it is with hockey. Because it's much harder to be a fan of a shitty team in football than it is to be one for hockey. But in hockey, if you're following a team, like in my case, for 28 years, which is more than enough fandom, then you have to really question yourself mentally. Like, is it really worth it? Is it the proper time for me to do this? Can I move forward with it? And I think this really started with Jack Eichel. Because I think Eichel, since 2015, he didn't ever want to be here. He didn't want to be in Buffalo. And he finally came out in 2017 and said either fire Dan Bosma or I'm going to ask for a trade. He gets what he wants. And then the Sabres still suck. They bring in Housley, sucks, gets fired. Bring in Jason Botterill's GM, sucks, gets fired. And then it just became a revolving drum. Ralph Kruger, sucks, gets out. Don Granato, sucks, get out. Kevin Adams, 5 years in as GM, he's still there, but he's a yes man. And I've argued about this for years, that Pegula likes yes men. He doesn't like people that challenge him. And I can't do it anymore. I've tried my best to cope with this team. You have the talent. You have Alex Tuck, you have Rasmus Dahlin, you have Bowen Byram, who might not even be a guarantee to be on the team. You have JJ Peterka, who might get betrayed this offseason. There's a lot of moving parts on the Buffalo Sabres that a lot of fans, myself, are not comfortable with. You can't have a dysfunctional shit show like this for 14 years with no progress. And that's my breaking point at this point now. Because if you're looking to trade Bowen Byram and keeping Owen Power and then keeping Mattias Samuelsson and then possibly letting JJ Peterka go in spite of having the salary cap, it tells me right there that Pegula does not care. And lucky for me, I've always said this too in my videos, that I've always been an Islander fan as well. I'm born here. I was raised here. My dad was a season ticket holder for the Islanders. I have friends who are Islander fans. I go to Islander games. I have a deeper connection with the Islanders because I actually live here and I go to the games. I was there for the old Coliseum. I was there for Brooklyn. I was there for UBS Arena. I've seen them in 3 different arenas in the last 10 years. And yet, even despite of all the shit that the Islanders have went through, I've seen more success from them than I have seen from the Buffalo Sabres. And the Islanders are a much older team. Okay, so let me put it this way. If the Sabres were in a situation like, let's say, Winnipeg, okay, or San Jose in this case. I'm going to use San Jose. If San Jose with Matt Celebrini, you have a young prospect who's up and coming and they could build around him in the future and build the team moving forward and be competitive in the next 4 or 5 years. And okay, if it's a 4 or 5 year wait, I can understand that. But 14 years, this team has already went through 3 fucking rebuilds. How many more times do I have to say, oh, hopefully Jack Eichel doesn't have to leave, or oh, hopefully they don't trade Sam Reinhart, or oh, hopefully that Rasmus Dahlin doesn't get traded? How many more times do I have to take that in? Like, I know there are fans that are only fans of the Sabres, and there are fans who are only fans of the Bills. The difference is with the Bills is that's never going to waver. Yes, I'm a Bills fan through and through. That will never change because I hate the Jets, and I don't really care for the Giants that much, even though they live in the same area as me. That's not the point. I'm a Bills fan because of common sense. They're the only team in the state that I can legit call a fan, in New York State. The Jets have to play in Jersey. The Giants play in Jersey. The Bills have a passionate fan base. I went through the 17 years, okay? I was young when the Bills were bad, okay? I went through the Music City Miracle. I went through Wide Right. I went through 13 Seconds. I went through the drought. I went through all the shitty quarterbacks before Josh Allen. I went through all of it. I went through all the drama with Ralph Wilson. I went through all the drama with all of the executive hot potatoes with Doug Whaley and then Buddy Nix and his incompetence. I went through all that. I'm a Bills fan. I mean, look, I have a Bills tattoo on my arm. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. That's never going to change. But where does that leave the Sabres? Well, as of now, I have decided, and I am usually, not the one to be speaking up about this, but I am mentally standing up for myself. I am no longer going to be putting my time and effort and money into the Buffalo Sabres ever again. I'm done. So moving forward, I will be making New York Islanders videos. And if you want to unsubscribe, feel free. I'm not going to stop you. But if you want to stick around and still see my Bills videos or my travel videos, feel free to stay as well. I'm not going to be angry at everybody here. This was my own decision. And a lot of people are not brave enough in this society to kind of take that step on themselves. This is, to me, the equivalent of taking a break from work and being harassed and bullied. And yet I say to my boss, hey, I can't do this. I need to be away from the job for a little while, for like 6 weeks, and then come back. Or I could say, I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving and I'm getting a different job. So for me, this is a new opportunity for me. This is a fresh start for me, because now it's like I've put in 28 years of energy to this team, and within that span, I've got nothing but sadness from the Buffalo Sabres. And the only main reason why I was a Sabres fan to begin with, and I'm going to tell you the truth, the only reason why I'm a Sabres fan to begin with at that time was because Dominik Hasek was my favorite player, and red and black are my favorite colors, and the Sabres were wearing red and black. But I didn't know at that time that they were going for a uniform change. I had no idea. I just suspected they were always going to be that color. But then when I went with royal blue and yellow, I bought merchandise. Yeah, I went to the Winter Classic. Yeah, I went to a Sabres Islanders playoff game. I rooted for the Sabres. I was 14. I was young. That was almost 20 years ago. But still, even to this point as an adult, you can't just help yourself and say to yourself, okay, what can I possibly do to make myself feel better? And I chose the easy route. Yes, that sounds cowardly, but remember, nobody made me do this. I did this myself. I need to do what's best for Bobby Hansen. I need to do what's best for him. And for my soul personally, to go with the Islanders moving forward, because for one, it's easy for me to get their games locally, and two, I don't have to spend $130 a year just to watch outside of market hockey, because I did that for the Sabres for 20 fucking years. And what do the Sabres do for me? Absolutely nothing. They have given me nothing to show for that I should at least stay around. Why should I stay around for Bowen Byram potentially being traded? Why should I stay around for J.J. Peterka to potentially get offer sheeted in the free agent market? Why should I stay around if Rasmus Dahlin may want out? Why should I stay around if the whole stadium situation with the Sabres is coming out? Why should I stay around if they ultimately relocate? People do this all the time. My friend Derek was a Blackhawks fan. He left as soon as he heard about the sexual assault allegations. My friend Gerald was an Arizona Coyotes fan. He was also a Predators fan, but he stopped caring for the Coyotes as soon as they moved to Utah. My friend Chris was a Montreal Expos fan in the 80s and 90s, and as soon as they relocated to DC, he stopped. Things like this happen all the time, and it's not an easy transaction, sure, but I've gotten some mixed reactions, of course, sure. But most people have said to me that you put up with their shit for 28 years. And what you're doing is honestly very brave, and not a lot of people do that. And you're right. Because who's going to go on YouTube or any social media platform and basically say what I'm saying now? That's what I want to know. Who is actually going to do that? This guy. So, like I said earlier, moving forward, I'm going to be making content for the New York Islanders. And I'm going to be making more Islanders videos. I'm going to be making more Islanders context. I'm going to be making more stuff for you guys. And, I mean, if you don't like it, that's fine. But at least, though, for me, I have Bills videos. I have Road to 32. I have Buffalo After Dark still. I have all this. I still have it. It's just a matter of time. Realistically, though, I can't do this anymore, guys. I'm sorry. If you're only here for my Sabres content, okay, I respect you for doing that, honestly, because I never thought in a million years that I would be getting this kind of appreciation and support from you guys. Never in a million years would I ever think that. So, with the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you, because at the end of the day, you guys are awesome, you guys are amazing, and I truly want to thank you guys on the bottom of my heart for being there for me, because at the end of the day, you guys are the best. And I support Sabres fans no matter what happens moving forward. If they get good again, I am very happy for you guys. But for me, personally, I need to move on. I cannot do this anymore. Terry Pegula has mentally broken me. He has mentally tortured my soul for far too long. I've had enough. I cannot do this anymore. So I think with that being said, I wish you all guys but the best. If you do tend to unsubscribe, I'm not going to be angry at you. But if you tend to stick around, awesome to you. I'll have more content out for you guys in the near future. So with that being said, I'll talk to you guys later, and let's go Islanders.